So this is an interesting question because I came into this fandom in 2022. So the books that were out were the ones that were already out, and there wasn't really this like, where's the next one? Where's the next one? Because we just, I think A Court of Silver Flames had just come out. So I'm pretty new to the fandom, but I feel like I can speak on this just because I've been around the fandom long enough, and I feel like I've been inundated in enough discourse. I do feel like I can talk about this. For one, I don't think that everybody is against Reese and Feyre. I am not the biggest fan of them, but I feel like my opinion is a very, very small minority in the larger ACOTAR fandom. Like, the larger ACOTAR fandom is still eating them up. I don't know why, but like, they're still eating them up. I think as the ACOTAR series becomes more viral and more people are gaining access to it, including people that might not have read this beforehand. Like, I definitely didn't read this until I had gotten on TikTok and I had heard about it. I was more of like a solid fantasy girly, or like a YA girly. I wasn't necessarily like reading books with a lot of banging in it, which is another conversation for another day. But I think the issue here is that this series kind of broke containment, and people who would not necessarily find this dynamic of 19, 20-year-old girl is immediately impregnated by a 500-year-old apartheid state leader romantic. That being said, I don't think that everyone is trying to bring them down, and I don't think that everybody hates them. Like, I personally don't hate Feyre. I actually really like Feyre. It's just Feyre has she's not my favorite Archeron sister, but that doesn't mean I don't like her. Like, I've said this a couple times before, like, my metaphor for this was I like cookies, I like brownies, I like pie. I like pie the least. I would choose pie the least amount of times, but I still like pie. I also think that Akamath Rhysand is not Akasif Rhysand for a good reason. We're getting Akamath Rhysand from Feyre's perspective, and Feyre is up his ass. Akasif Rhysand, we're seeing him from a different perspective. We're seeing him from Nesta's perspective. And Nesta is not the biggest fan of Rhysand, but I also think that went a long way towards like this feeling about Rhysand that we have now. Because if this is how Rhysand is to someone who is looking at him with a neutral, slightly negative eye, what has he been doing while he's been papered over by Feyre's loving narration? This actually goes further with House of Flame and Shadow with Bryce, because I actually remember reading House of Flame and Shadow and being like, if Rhysand had struck this balance of fucking menace, like this menacing dude where like he's still kind of villain coded and he's still, but like you could tell like he's not an asshole because he's not breaking into Bryce's brain, that kind of thing, that I would have appreciated. And if Rhysand had maintained that like throughout House of Flame and Shadow, I would have been a happy camper. I would have been reevaluating my opinion of Rhysand at that point. But then the Ember Quinlan bonus chapter comes out, and I'm just like, oh, I'm never doubting myself again. Fuck this man. I hate this man. And I think that's the thing. I think a lot of this fandom has Akamath Rhysand in their head, or Akawar Rhysand in their head. I actually think Akawar Rhysand is the best Rhysand because he's not trying to justify himself, and he is being called out for some of his bullshit. But he's also not like lying to Feyre about like her medical shit or threatening to kill Nesta for like any dumbass reason that's also his fault. But back to my point, the fandom has like these earlier versions of Rhysand from Feyre's perspective stuck in their heads. So then this new characterization comes out for Rhysand, which isn't new characterization. It's just kind of fulfilling what has already been there between the lines of what Feyre has been showing us. And people just are having a hard time being like, oh no, like my favorite book boyfriend is a douchebag. Like, and honestly, that's okay. It's okay that he's a douchebag. The whole point is that he's morally gray. What can I say? Gray's my favorite color, blah, 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 blah. But you want a morally gray book boyfriend, but you also want him to be perfect. And you can't have that. You can't have a morally gray, but also perfect book boyfriend. If you, if you love Rhysand, that's great. Love him in his good shit and his bad shit. Like, I am an Asriel girly. I have never made a secret of that. I'm an Asriel Elriel girly all day, all night long. I am constantly saying that this man has never done anything wrong in his life. This man is a career torturer. He has definitely done some things wrong in his life. And that's okay. Morally gray, what can I say? Gray is my favorite color. Like it is what it is. And I think that's the joy of like these morally gray old ass fae book men. It's that they, like in Asriel's case, he is in equal parts a torturing guy who was initially described as kind of like an incel, but also he's the I'm gonna take the potatoes from you so you can go and change, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody waits for you to come back to the table before we eat. Like those things exist together. Let Rhysand's, you were my mate and I loved you, and fuck him in the paint or whatever. I never found that attractive. I'm trying to get into the heads of people who find Rhysand attractive. It's not really working. Like, take Rhysand's good shit with his bad shit. Take him as a full character. Don't leave like this later development off the table. If you like this man or you want to reevaluate your opinion of this man, go ahead and do that. It's not being a hater on them and trying to bring them down, because we are taking all of the information that's being given to us or that's being implied to us about this character.